Yes, welcome, welcome. To those who are just joining us, this is our part two.
Mhm.
Remember, we had Mr. Paidamoyo some 2 to 3 weeks ago. We had a
Yes,
very
sir.
good, interview show with him. He narrated the events which made him to be in South Africa. I'm sure sometime 2008. How he left Zimbabwe, he left his family, he went to Johannesburg. Some challenges happened there. He was almost on his way back to Zimbabwe. Then he was encouraged to go to Cape Town. And the moment he arrived in Cape Town, something happened. I'm sure quite interesting story which happened there. So today, let us welcome Mr. Paidamoyo Gerald Manomano. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. This is a greeting that I give also to my African brothers, my Zimbo brothers, the us, like how are you guys? It's so good to be here again, and like we are continuing with the story, man. Stuart, it's so good to see you. How has been
Yeah.
this pandemic looking after you? Look, now I'm the one who's asking you. How are you, brother?
Me, I'm fine. By the way, we are hearing that some cases, some infectious cases, are
Mm-hmm.
going up. So we just ask God to protect you guys. God protects
Mm-hmm.
those who protect themselves. So we understand we are going to pass through this pandemic
Yeah.
period. Otherwise, how have you been these past 2 to 3 weeks from the day we had the interview up to today? How have you been, sir?
Yo, I've been good. I've been really very good, Jay. So we are just here. We are healthy. The family is doing well, and yeah, it's really of concern now the numbers, the cases that are raising. But I feel the authorities are also on it, and we understand that everyone is really working under pressure, and there is a lot of adapting that is needed to be happening. You understand what I'm saying? And people getting to understand each other and being I'll say available for each other, even more emotionally or like physically. I mean, where it's self distance is maintained, if I would say. Thank you, my brother. It's so
So
good to be back
without
here. Hello,
wasting,
people.
yeah,
Mhm,
thanks so much. Welcome here. Feel
mhm,
free, relax. So without wasting our time, we want to go straight to the business of
mhm,
today.
mhm,
We touched the issue of you arriving in Cape Town, and
mhm,
you explained a bit the way you were staying under the bridge. But maybe today is our point of reference
mhm,
or of somewhere where we are
mhm,
going to start our interview. Do
mhm.
you have? I don't know. There is background there. There is a device which. How many devices which are on there? Let's hope your devices which are on is one. There
Yeah,
is
so
another one.
I know I'm only one on this one only. All
Okay.
right.
Okay.
So now I would
No,
rather
no,
be.
no.
I don't know how my like my WhatsApp. I don't hope it's not gonna affect people. So because it's
Okay.
I've got some notifications that I really want to be out, but I'll make sure that I'll ignore them as much as possible so that I'll be able to answer most of your questions. Because yeah, you'll be answering what people don't really want to ask.
It's fine,
Yeah.
sir.
So yeah. So
It's fine.
because
So
hmm,
let's
I
go
would,
straight to
yeah.
where we discussed last time. You
Mm-hmm,
just touched a bit of your stay under the bridge. I don't know how best you can summarize it because maybe we'll have a lot of things to touch today. Just
mm-hmm.
give us a picture of how you managed to soldier through. This was a new type of life which you had under the bridge, and can you help us understand how was it and how did you manage to overcome from the bridge to the normal life, maybe in the suburbs?
Yeah, so when I arrived there, it was really a cold day. It ended up being cold and windy that day. So the guy that took me to under the bridge that we talked about, um, he left me there. Then I decided not to be where he had left me. I started to move away from the people, choosing to go like a bit a big distance away from them, because I was feeling like, no, 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 I'm not getting to be, what you say, I'm not going to be like these people, because they're so dirty, you know. Even if myself I was looking dirty, but I did not say that. I felt that, no, the way these people they're so dirty. So at the end of the day, I left them. Then I looked for some place to stay. So when I arrived in Cape Town, I still had those lies, you know. In my language, I really want to call them inda, you know, those lies, you know. So they were still in my clothes, yeah, you know, like that I had got when I was staying in Joburg. So in this night, that I slept under the bridge. There were these guys that came. So before they arrived, this is what happened. Before I, of course, I don't want to make it so big, you know. It's I don't want people to feel pity of what was happening there. I just want people to feel encouraged. So they are not going to be tears or stuff like that. Not from my part, because I really, you understand, I live it for a reason that I want to tell you guys, you know, like when you see me and when you see the things that you say I've achieved, you know, I feel like it was not giving up, because I'm not giving up, and it was not, it was really not for myself, you know, for my own self comfort, you know, but for a lot of people who find that it's easier to be like not in a cool way we say being coward, you know, because if you really cannot go for it, you know, like the spirit of like go for it is the one that you go like a change man. You understand what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I wanna take it, you know, you understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we want to live the life that you really know that, no, man, I just wanna go. It's straightforward and without now looking back at what is happening. That's how I went the life that I went through. So me sharing with you, you know, it encourages me, and I want you to be encouraged, you know, like knowing that, okay, my guy was there before. So you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So that night when I was there, the first night, it was really something that was. Later on, I lived with it. I saw how God was really protecting me. When I was sleeping under the bridge, and there was there was this brick that I was like sleeping on, in just my pillow, you know. So then this lies decided to beat me there. So so the when it clicked on me, right? You know, I just like, all right, I want to crush it, because I become like an expert in crushing lies, you know, because they were all over me, you know, when I was living in Joburg and stuff like that. So like I knew how to, like, when it beat you, you know, you go there because it moves there, then you know you must look, and you know. So I really like was waking up, you know. So when I was waking up, I tied the brick, you know, because the brick was like I'm supporting myself. So I'm like lifting my head there. Uh, then I had like, look, my brother, do you have a lighter? So like, because those guys were so like, what's going on? Because they wanted to rob me, they wanted to stab me. But like, how come this guy is looking up already, prepared to crush me? So with the conversation that I had with those guys, you know, like we just like dismissed like those guys we met in the road like during the day, and they asked me for a lighter, and I didn't have it. So then they will wait away. But it was because of the brick that I was holding, you know, like without knowing. And it was because of that lies, you know, that I came with from Joburg that beat me that night. What happened later on to the people that those colors met, you know, I'm sorry to say that, but those people were like that, and that was the rest that way. Myself, I'll be always saying, like, if it's a Zimbabwean, or if it's a Nigerian, or if it's a South African, or if it's a wherever and stuff like that, I'll say it. If it's a father, if it's a mother, if a son, I will say it. You know, I say it for everyone and stuff like that. Even like if someone is saying I'm in prison, even someone like we're saying I'm giving up. So yeah, that was part of the night that was so saving it for me. No, I hope I really answered that one.
Yeah, you answered it very, very well. So
Mm.
there is another part, your passion in regard to, I'm sure, refugees in South Africa there, maybe in particular in Cape Town there. You are an award-winning novel writer. You write books, okay, and you published your book a year ago. So
Mhm.
my question I wanted to ask you, like
So
you have
sorry,
had,
sorry, Chiwe. I'll be saying like, okay, whenever I say your book, I always like, this is what I always do. Like it's yeah, it's
yes,
one of my, you know, I love this
yes,
one, you know. That's
yeah,
so yeah.
and the title, you can make me announce the title again. It's what you said. It's cheap
Yeah,
what?
like I know it's a mouthful, because myself, when
Cheap,
you look at me,
dirty. It's
Dog
cheap, dirty,
blanket.
cheap, cheap, dirty dog blanket. Okay, cheap, dirty
Yes.
dog blanket. So,
Yes.
on your biography, there is an issue of you having passion
Mm,
with the way refugees in Cape Town there or in Africa, in South
mm.
Africa, their lives. Is there anything which you are doing with your talent of writing books towards the refugees in South Africa?
Thank you for that question, Stewie. So I want to tell you something. There was a time when I was doing when I was reading for people. So I was reading for them a story when the book was still being written. I call it CDDB with a friend of mine. When CDDB was being in the process of being written, I was speaking about it, and that was like as far back as 2011. So I asked it. I spoke it to other people like we're coming from East Africa, and they were asking like, "What are you talking about our story?" I said, "Why? It's just me, my story, and like my home is Ranotaura, those who speak Shona and stuff like that." And they know it's our story. It's a refugee story. Then I was like, so this guy is saying that it's a refugee story, and I'm a refugee. But yeah, I really knew at the end of the day, like, okay, I'm a refugee. But him saying that this is a refugee story, and like, all right, you're from East Africa, you're like Somalia. When we grew up, Somalia was the one what was so heated with corruption, the hunger, and stuff like that. So like now I was like looking at this guy and like, okay, me also, I'm like, come on, man. But I grew up in Zimbabwe that was so, everything was was just going smoothly and stuff like that. So yeah, but now I would say like my stories and my writings, they are no longer for refugees only. They are for people, everyone. Because I speak for children. I started. I even organized a writing competition for economic refugees children. I'm one also, and for other economic refugees, they won prizes. I read stories, my poems, that I've written to give it to raise money and funds to give the prizes to those people. I'm so hip about that, and I really like when I do that. I know that people will be saying like, I want to say it in my language. Andingambokundwa na paida.
Okay.
I must really do like, more than like what he did for mankind. You understand what I'm saying? So if I can inspire, I can still do to do that. I really like, let's go for it. Because the fight, it's not for me, it's not against me and my brothers, the fight is against poverty. You understand what I'm saying? And some poverty is really self-inflicted. You just the bridge. The 1.8, 1.8 million bridge, you understand that one. So that causes poverty. And we want to fight that. We want to fight poverty. Poverty that is induced by 1.8 million bridge.
There are two very critical questions which I'm going to ask you today. As we are going to make our part two today not all that long, it must not be long. I'm sure we are almost halfway the interview show. There are two very critical questions which I realized I'm sure you are also lobbying on your side there. But before I can ask you those two questions, I'm sure one of the questions is in relationship with the marriage bill in Zimbabwe. And the other critical will be the issue of women plight, the women problem in Africa, African women problem. So before I can touch those two questions, I wanted to check with you the issue of entrepreneurship. The entrepreneurship, at one time you tried to create your own company. In a very short response, what then happened to the company which you tried to create? Is it there? Entrepreneurship, are you doing very well? What is happening?
So yeah, thank you so much for talking about that. The backdrop of that entrepreneurship company, that was came up. I want to tell you like how it came about. It came up because of that was like 2017. Yeah, 2017. I went home during the coup. That was not a coup. I went home. Arrived there to see my mother and tell her that I've forgiven her in life and stuff like that. I don't want it anymore. Like come on, man. I'm telling you, that was 2017. So it was like 3 years ago. I'm telling you. So when I arrived there, my mom was like, "What are you talking about?" As usual. she would ask me like, "What are you talking about? What are you saying? Like you said, you wanna give up. This is not how we. I don't know if I give up and stuff like that. Go to it and stuff like that." So yeah, I came back. I started working as a janitor. Like cleaning everything. And stuff like that. So what happened? What ended up happening was that it came like you can start an opportunity of us supplying you. You supplying us service and ourselves, like because we can't employ you anymore. We don't want to that kind of scenario. So I did that, and I having like two employees and stuff like that. The people who really like benefiting their families and stuff like that, right? But during COVID, it really like ended up like the bosses and stuff like that. They also like were like it's like their thing, their family thing, which is right. I'm telling you, I'm not complaining about that. They ended up doing the jobs that I was doing themselves, like doing the filing, like also like going on the like if it's admin work, like if it's even carpentry or whatever. They ended up doing that themselves, like because this is what is happening with the situation that is happening. So it even went on. But there was a message that I received from another one of our employees. You really was it was so touching. Like, he was really thanking me. I believe that he was not really supposed to thank me. I believe those people who told me that we are not supposed to thank us when I managed to publish my book. They said you're not supposed to thank us. Thank God. You understand what I'm saying? Thank you, whatever what you believe in that made you miss. Because the thing is, I was just been an instrument. We're just an instrument each other. It's like passing the COVID virus. It doesn't discriminate, like the way people spread it on the way it was spreading the COVID virus. That's the love that should be like spreading, like I touch you, like they're spreading love, they're spreading like understanding each other. I am the people will be saying like, I mean, how can it better? It starts with me.
Okay, okay. I understood you very well, but I'm sure what I realize in business is that when you have passion
Mm,
of doing something or
mm.
to start something, that passion you must not let it die. One of the
Yeah.
days when the time
I'll,
when it
I'll
when,
explain a
when
bit further also. I'll explain a bit further also on the passion, like, so this is what we do with our passion. It's for us Africans, it takes long to get to eat through your passion. Also, because we grew up with this, we realized our passions later. There's not much support, even from grassroots or even from home. Because we were just supposed to be like working, and stuff like that. And, so another developed mindset on the state, people like, like there's someone, I love Manchester United. And you look at Gary Neville, that's what his son is, he's playing maybe something like a position, the same position for Manchester United. He's very young. He's even younger than maybe my son. I'm not speaking in a kind of jealous or what, but I'm saying like, if it is run properly, like the way it is supposed to have, even Zipper was supposed to be happening and stuff like that, we will give those academies that are just happening, even in the rural areas. We know those, we used to have Shabanman, we used to have Man Africa, we used to have all that. It's all down. We have the Portland, Cycle Cement, we have to have, even the army, like everywhere, there was sport, sporting was happening but not much of swimming, if I would say that. Not much, but I know of soccer, cricket, and stuff like that. I think you understand what I'm saying.
so yeah, I understand you.
Mm,
But the good thing is that the passion is there, and when time is ripe, I'm sure you're going to embark, and we are going to do well.
mm,
I want to. We are almost closing.
mm,
These two critical parts. When I was reading part of your articles, I realized that the Marriage Bill Act, which is
mm,
in Zimbabwe,
mm,
you contributed, you had a suggestion yourself, and
mm,
your suggestion is to say lobola must be
mm,
scraped off.
mm,
Like we must do away with lobola.
mm.
It's interesting because it's an issue, it's a debatable issue right now. I just want to hear a confirmation from you because I'm sure our time is almost running out right now.
Yeah,
What
that
is
I
your
also,
what is
yeah, let me say,
yes?
right. So
Mm.
at the end of the day, a lot of people are going to be sort of like this and they'll be saying like, you guys, you're not you guys like pointing at me and stuff like that. It's not a big issue. I paid lobola myself. And the thing is, I even get involved in getting also someone paying lobola, and stuff like that, like. So at the end of the day, lobola, if it stays, it should not be the proceeds must not go to the parents, must go to the daughter and the husband
Okay.
and the children and the grandchildren.
Okay.
Just like that. Okay,
So,
let's start from there. Like you, my Atezara, like I don't. Let's not be like about assuming that there's a relation that is going to happen between me and you. Like okay, to get also good, like. But I'm saying like my father, I mean, me, the husband, spent 500,000. You, the wife, spent 500,000. So at the end of the day, if you look at it, this is the money that is supposed to be uh, equipping the family, like helping the husband, being able to provide for the family or the marriage, providing for the family, not the husband or the wife, but the marriage. You understand? Let's remove that husband thing or wife thing, but the marriage. Marriage, you're helping, like stuff like that. It's like you bringing so you bring the rib, we treat your partner, you the rib, like compliment with like in a good way and stuff like that. Not to say like this is supposed to be happening. Like if you look much at the women, they are the ones who also like have to go under the season, making the at the end of the day. They're the ones like so at the end of the day, yeah, as in the family will eat
so,
man. And
so,
when we
so
go,
my
mm,
question here, I'm sure you need to answer me
mm,
a yes or no here.
mm,
Are you saying so? Lobola must be totally scraped off, or you are saying okay, it must be there, but
mm,
now the family,
mm,
the newly, I mean, this couple must take
mm,
the proceeds and then they
mm.
must use it. Are you
To
saying so?
serve their
Lobola
own
must
family.
be complete?
You understand what I'm saying? It's not really like something that is you people should be really benefiting in it like other people. Like you'll be working out, we'll be worked harder for it. You understand what I'm saying? Now women, because they also want to invest in marriage, they're feeling neglected in the sense that people be looking at them like, how can she pay? He gave her the boyfriend to marry her. Like come on, man. It's your right because you said that it's supposed to be there. Now she wants to be married, and the boy, her husband or the boyfriend is not in a economic opportunity to do that. She'll be forced to get breaking the taboo of marrying herself. And now it's like an unnecessary cloud that is hovering over like their marriage, like Akazugora, like she married herself. Instead of like, okay, she married the marriage, or like it's the marriage, our marriage. That brought with love and stuff like that and understanding each other.
Okay, so to summarize this
Mm.
argument, you yourself you are saying it must be scraped off. If it's there, it must be given to the this newly couple. That's what you're saying, right?
All right, you put words also in my mouth and stuff like that. But in that sense, it must happen like that. Like, okay, like this is investment. How can you invest like a Kwana Tesara? And in my Tesara, I'm also a father-in-law, and I'm also going to be a father-in-law. In terms of like marrying off my daughter, if that happens, like like giving him into marriage, not like I'm taking the process myself, or helping my son also do that, getting other child. Like bringing the woman with the dignity because you're talking of women empowerment. What are we empowering them for? To be like making more babies and stuff like that, keeping on making babies and being said like, I know today because you're not sitting also I'm gonna look for another woman and stuff like that. But man, like and stuff like that. It's not things that you should not be doing. I'm a family man. I really was brought in the family institution, even if I was under polygamy like marriage and stuff like that. This is another essence of another story of its own. But at the end of the day, what I'm telling you, like I'm just saying, like this thing of like really inhibiting people from soaring and soaring like eagles, like to get their dreams and like bring something and build something that is so nice. It's like people really like some kwasha or something like that. I'm not talking of like but it's the how our system. Notice like myself, I'm saying my son-in-law, my brother-in-law, like he's saying like to me, but the system's like Mkwasha aperi kujiwa every time, like we're taking money from him or like any process like that. I could also have a question, like my brother-in-law just married my sister. Like I'm also using that culture, like so it's really I feel all the pain, or the inconvenience. the predicament that a man goes, as in Kwasha, because I'm Kwasha and they are Kwasha and we understand what I'm saying.
No, I understand. I understand. I'm sure you touched it very, very well. So, concluding now, we are, I mean, at the end of our interview show. The part whereby you also play on the African women problems in your other activities. Maybe you can just share with us in brief. You're also involved in the plight which African women face. So, can you just break down in quick time, just summarizing what are some of your activities which you do in regard to the plight of African women?
All right. So basically, the award that I wrote, and that I won, like as a writer, it was coming because I'd spoken the plight of the women. It's starting with me. You understand what I'm saying? There's a small thing like like I want to show you, like people when I showed them pictures, I showed them pictures of what is happening in my life. Like washing plates in the house. Men in Africa, they don't do that. Like they don't feel like even being clean in the like sometimes in the bathroom. Sometimes because there's women who can always because women are very married, you end up like you understand what I'm saying. So it's not it's on us men not to be like also not so considerate and stuff like that. Things like not being so clean, in terms of like also being clean also in a marriage. It's like when let's say your woman is having those moments that she's menstruating and stuff like that, you choose to be like promiscuity because I can't get it from home and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? It's because we don't understand like with our partner and the person that we have now been with and the like the life that we're making. The person who live like giving you children and stuff like that. The person who live blood, because of your love that you're given to you. And like I'm not saying that you are not giving also. It give both ways and stuff like that. But this is what I'm just saying, like when I really speak up as a man, like I know as an African man, you don't have it on me. The name too poor, like I know Kwandaga Topa, like you tell me the culture wise in Takakara Matar, we say to elders, like we even received the Lobola, like praying and giving it out. I speak not like somebody who didn't do it. I did pay it myself, and I did not finish because it's not like kind of a finish. It's a culture that has been so exciting. Can't we find ways of really like making it, in a good way that you feel the ubuntu, the business in it, and stuff like that.
No, thank you. I'm sure personally we can spend the day long. What one thing I realized from you, my brother, is that your journey made you to have a lot of. You see now, you've got that state of first love. You've got a lot to unpack, and we are going to touch some of the issues. At one time, I'm sure you also highlighted the issue of growing up in a polygamous family setup. We can spend the whole day speaking, but one thing which I want to do right now is to thank you so much. We finished some of the parts which people wanted to hear. They said, no, it just ended. So I'm sure you briefed that you gave us the picture of the part of you yourself living in a bridge and some of the help which you are giving to the refugees there in South Africa, not only in South Africa, but in Africa. You also helped us on the issue of marriage bill to scrape up the lobola. You are showing us the second, is that the second book?
So yeah, like all right, you're asking for another question, but I was showing you like this is a second story, or not second story, or a first story, because yeah, it's a first including mine, not for me, but for the refugees found in this book, in my shoes. I got it at Scalabrin Center. That's also the place that I give. Also, I gifted with books. Because one of my readers, well, not one of some readers of mine came together, pulled resources together. Initially, they decided to help me throughout also the COVID that was happening through my talent, like they said, like we're sponsoring copies, to people who will understand your book. People who will also will benefit more from your story, and stuff like that. This is a great story, and they sponsored, copies and stuff like that. So yeah, it's the second book. It's almost finished. It's the secret to Ella Gweja. But what's really brewing, it's called Letters to My Mother. The one that I've really started to in COVID, I think I've said it about it, and it's going to be like my fourth book and stuff like that. And also, life is really happening, and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a book that is in the pipeline. It's the full stop is there already. So we want to set on little glitches. That is case, And when I say case is little glitches, is because God has done what He has done for me. Like when I look it from the day I was on the street, friending people in the street, it's been happening, and it's really been happening for me. I really want to tell my people and all the people that feel encouraged by me, and to be encouraged with the encouraged heart and knowing that, guys, this is what is what you're having here. It is not with tarnished hands. It's really, I'm not giving a slogan or what, but what I'm saying, like what I'm giving you is something that I got given also. I'm not like saying I'm a prophet or whatever or stuff like that. I just want to uh, be the voice for those who really are not so on it. Like we know, like also the people of cloth, who really were benefiting from that. You know that. And if me going without saying it, and if me not endorsing July 31, I won't be saying like I'm a Zimbabwean. I also need better, man. July 31 is really a must. I'm telling you, I'm July 31 or everything that is going to be going beyond and stuff like that is a must. A July 31 in the way we deal with things, a July 31 we deal with corruption, a July 31 where we really look within ourselves, like not like utilizing what we have, the resources that we have. When I was living on the street, nobody really said, come up. I did it myself. So what if we are in a united? What if we've got common purpose? What's going to be happening? I see you laughing. I see you smiling. Thank you, my brother.
No,
I really appreciate.
you touched a very important issue, but I won't. I will reserve my comment as for now, because just to be a bit neutral for my channel, but I'm sure we might be sharing the same. There must be a marriage of minds on the aspect which you have just discussed right now. But just to summarizing everything, I want to thank you so much, my brother. I'm sure we benefit a lot from the experiences which you went through. And in the near future, I'm sure we are going to have you on a different chapter from the one which we are having today.
I believe so.
What I want is to say, have a nice day. I'm sure you enjoyed your 18th anniversary. I saw on your
Wow.
timeline. And I also enjoyed.
Yeah.
I followed you. I had to give a comment there just to say, no, enjoy your
I
day.
know. I know.
And
Thank you so much. It's
just
really not
just
our power. Thank you. We really appreciate.
extend my happiness to your family, and just say to them, no, you must tell them that they must keep the talent in you. We are yet to see much from you, so that talent must be kept very well until we meet again. I'm sure we are ending now. You can say a word or two to your fans or to those people who are going to follow this show later on.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, thank you. You have a good day, my brother. May the good Lord bless you.